Have you been playing a 2007 modern re-release and been surprisingly overwhelmed and confused about where to actually start with this game? Then you're probably playing MySims Cozy Bundle on Nintendo Switch. I've already done a video going over some beginner tips and tricks, kind of telling you about the game and how to actually go about playing the gameplay loop, how to get the most out of it. And obviously a lot of that is tied to essence. Essence is basically the power that you have. You can build and decorate with essence, and that's why the townies love you, because there used to be a wizard that was able to do it, and now you're the only one who can do it, and you need to rebuild the town and their houses using those essence. So you can find these essence all over the different areas of the map, and today I wanted to go through that in detail, in depth, tell you where to find every single essence within the original MySims from the Cozy Bundle. I might still do a video on this when it comes to Kingdom, but I haven't actually started playing Kingdom yet. So if you would like a Kingdom video, maybe let me know down below, but I cannot promise anything because I'd have to pretty much play the full game, and that is going to take a little while. But enough about Kingdom, let's actually get into the essence of MySims. So obviously you start with just one part of the world unlocked, and that is My Town. That is kind of the town center that you have named in the opening scenes of the game. And there are different types of essence that you can collect. These come from trees, and then obviously you get wood from those trees as well. You can get them from prospecting, and you can get them from fishing, and then you can also get a couple of others from socializing. When it comes to loading up the game, you will be taken to an area by Mayor Rosalind. She will say that she wants some red apples so that you can create a podium for her using red apples, and that will actually be the first place that you will probably find essence, and that is the orchard the very south of the map. Anything that you kind of see in a different color from the rest of the map is considered an orchard, and then the red circles that you also see on the map are plantable spots. Some of these planters might already have trees in them. For a lot of them, they are empty so that you can fill it up with the essence and the trees that you need. But in this opening orchard, there is yellow blossom, there are green apples, and there are red apples. There's also another orchard which is placed behind your house and also your workshop, and that is where you can find thorns. So you will find a spooky looking tree behind there, and if you actually shake it, you will get these thorns. There is also, I'm fairly sure, an actual dead tree near Violet's house, which obviously it won't produce any essence because it is dead. However, if you chop it down, you can get dead wood. You unfortunately cannot plant this dead wood, but you can plant spooky trees, or you can over fertilize a regular tree and this will actually kill it off. It will go through the animation of all the essence falling off it, and it will also turn brown the first time you fertilize it. If you fertilize it a second time, it will become dead, and then again you can chop that down for dead wood. To get dark wood, you actually have to chop down either studious trees or cute trees. Now in the town center, the yellow blossom is considered a cute interest. It's a cute tree, so therefore if you chop that one down, you can obviously get hardwood, and to get light wood, you have to chop down tasty and fun trees. Obviously, we already have green apples and red apples from the get-go. Those are both considered the tasty interest, and therefore you can get light wood from them. If you're not finding a certain essence on a tree, then it's very likely that it can be found using prospecting or fishing. So the main area, and the only area, I think, of prospecting in the town is to the left-hand side of the train station. So as you approach the train station, just turn to your left, kind of near the tracks tucked away in a corner. There will be a crystal, and you will have the option to prospect. It is also directly to the right of that big orchard that has the green and the red apples in it that you find at the beginning. Hit A to start prospecting. Your MySim will whip out a little metal detector, and then this will start off blue if you're not near any essence. It will go from blue to green to orange to red. Obviously, once it starts pinging very loudly and also with like loads of red little circles around it, that means that you are above an essence. You can once again hit A to dig, and essences will pop up. From this prospecting spot in the town, you can get 8 balls. They tend to be the more rare essence in this area, so you might not find as many 8 balls as you want. Sometimes if you see DJ Candy just walking around and you have quite a good relationship with her, townies can just send out essences, and sometimes there'll be ones that actually they use quite frequently or they have a high interest in. DJ Candy is definitely the one to keep an eye out for if you're wanting more 8 balls, and then also stone and purple crayon. And the main gameplay loop of MySims comes from moving in townies, doing tasks for them, and then going up in your star level thanks to doing these tasks. As you actually progress through your star level, you will start to unlock different tools, and these will actually unlock different areas. The first level actually gives you a crowbar. If you open up your map and you go all the way over to the west of town, you will see a little indent in the cliffs. It's right between the desert and then the forest. You'll actually be able to break into the cave, which is kind of a geeky essence cave. You'll find 2 essence here, and those are both the action figure essence and the video game essence, which obviously very much help with Vic's Arcade, which I always suggest getting Vic's Arcade. I absolutely love that commercial build. And finally, we have fishing. So just actually to the left of your house, you will probably be able to see it from the entrance of your house within town. There is a pond. If you actually walk out onto the little dock, onto the little jetty that juts out into that pond, you will be able to fish. Now, fishing was always a little bit janky when it came to PC. I do wish that they had added motion controls to the Switch, because originally when MySims came out on the Wii, obviously we had motion controls. You could hit the trigger and you could pull up your fishing rod and that would actually fish for you, and that was so much fun. And the Switch has motion controls. It's just barely any games actually use the motion controls. I want to say the most prominent one is like Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. But to fish, you use your right Joy-Con, your right joystick, to actually go over the bubbles that appear, and then once your bobber actually goes under the water, just hit A and you will actually pull out a number of different essences. In the town, you actually have the opportunity to fish for clownfish, rainbow trout, and tire. I've already mentioned that sometimes when you walk past random townies, depending on the relationship you have, depending on what their interests are, upon seeing you, they may have a reaction and they might actually drop some essences. I've definitely seen townies dropping happy essence upon seeing you. We already talked about DJ Candy dropping some 8 balls. Some of the more spooky residents can drop some sadness when they see you, which I don't know if I'm taking that as an insult, but Violet, all I will say is a good job, I love you. But you can also collect essence from you actually going up to these townies and socializing with them. So you can get happy essence from being nice to non-spooky sims. You can get angry essence by being mean to most sims. This doesn't work all of the time. It feels like for the anger ones, you actually have to be mean a couple of times, so it does feel a little harsh. But hey, if that's what I need to make you the furniture that you want, I fear that's on you. To get sad essences, you can be nice or mean to sims who are like Goth Boy, Elmira, those kind of gothic sims within MySims that you probably are like, okay, if I'm nice to this person, they're gonna be sad either way. Not to judge a book by its cover, but usually you can like look at them and clock it and be like, being nice is gonna make you sad. And then to get spooky essence, you can be nice to spooky sims. So from the get-go, Violet is already living in your town. She is one that you can get spooky essences from. And then also, as you're randomly walking around town, sometimes townies will just take themselves off and do little activities. So cute sims can host tea parties. If you actually join in on their tea party, then you can get Tina dolls from them. Sims with the tasty interest usually can throw picnics, and if you join them, they will sometimes drop bacon. Studious sims can have a book club. You can get pencils from them. Geeky sims can sometimes let off rockets, and that will sometimes give you rocket essences. And then scary sims can sometimes do a seance, which can bring out Cassandra. She's got, I think, pink hair and then definitely looks like a ghost. Sometimes when you interact with her, if you're nice, she will actually drop ghost essence, which some of those don't actually come until much later into the game, much later into your star levels. So if you do see a sim kind of doing an activity, go and join them and see what essence you can get from them, because it's definitely not going to be wasteful. And some of those you can even plant to make trees. And then finally, in the town, or just as you're walking around in general, sometimes you will see flowers on the ground. You can either choose to sniff these flowers, which will just play an animation. However, if you destroy a flower, again, you can get thorns. We already spoke about the thorn tree, but you can also get those from destroying flowers around your town. And then if you pick the flower, instead of destroying it, you can get the organic essence, which just looks like a little leaf, but it is in fact an essence. Next up, we're going to move on to the forest, as this is kind of the next area that you can unlock outside of the town. Once you actually reach level 2, you are given a saw, and then you can go and cut the big log that actually is covering the gate to the forest, which the entrance of the forest is in the very top left corner of your map. From the get-go in the forest, you'll actually be able to access 3 trees right now, and the first one is the cherry blossom. That is actually up in between the 2 houses on kind of the left of the tree. Obviously, I'm showing it to you in a video. I recorded most of these from the entrance so that you're actually able to get an idea of where to go, but I know it can be confusing, but it's kind of up on a little plateau to the left of the map. If you pretty much follow it in between like the 2 houses, you'll definitely be able to see it. And then again, from the entrance, if you carry on up past the big tree and then continue on, if you take a left, there is another hill that you can go up, and it kind of zigzags up to a platform. That is where you will find the plum blossom and the rose tree. There is also an orange tree. However, this one works a little bit differently. If you are just on the ground level, if you are near that big tree and you look to the right, you can probably see the plateau it is on. Again, it's a raised platform. Now, some people do say if you shake that tree from the ground level that is accessible, then you can actually reach those orange essence. I actually tested that, and I, for one, definitely could not pick up those essences. I don't know if maybe the magnetism used to be stronger or it used to have a bigger radius. I unfortunately wasn't able to pick them up, and if that is the case for you, unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait until you are a level 3, because at level 3 star level, you actually unlock the pickaxe, which means that you can break boulders, and the entrance to this plateau is actually past the big tree, up that main path again, but then a direct sharp right. And once you have actually broken those boulders at the bottom, then you will be able to access the orange tree. There is a spooky cave, which again is unfortunately only available at level 3, but if you follow the main path and then take the right fork, which takes you to like a fishing area, there will also be a little bench. Quite a lot of townies tend to hang out in that area. If you then follow it round to the right, there will be another hill that you can go up. Obviously, it will have boulders on the bottom, but once you've broken those boulders at level 3, go up, you will see a cherry blossom. That's how you know you're on the right path. Again, take a sharp right. There will be a number of bridges, so you'll actually cross 2 bridges, and then you'll come to a platform that has a statue near it. If you actually go across the river, you'll see some little pebbles, which usually means that the water is walkable and you can just go over it. Head over and you'll see a cave entrance. This is actually the spooky forest cave, and in there you'll be able to find black apples, eyeballs, and jack-o'-lantern trees. Again, all of these trees, once you actually have at least one of the essences, you can plant those anywhere you want to. They don't just have to stay in those locations. So if you're like, okay, that spooky forest cave is a little bit too far away from me, I would like these essences elsewhere, I would always suggest planting these around your town. Do just be careful with essence that you get from trees, because obviously if you chop a tree down and then you run out of essences, sorry, you're out of luck. Unless you can steal it from like a piece of furniture that you maybe have already put an essence on. Just make sure that you never chop a tree down if you don't have spare essence, because you are definitely gonna run out of it and nobody wants that. And then there are 3 trees in the forest area that are only available once you reach level 4. You will get a blowtorch at star rating level 4. That's actually the last tool that you unlock. Again, if you follow that main main path and take the right fork back to the kind of fishing area. There is a blocked off bridge. If you use the blowtorch on that bridge, you'll be able to cross it, and that will take you into a cave that is in a trunk. This is the chest cave, and here you will find a tree that has pawns and rooks. To access the night tree, you follow the main path, but this time around, take the left fork. You'll have to go over a tree branch across the river, and then you will, on your left-hand side, pass a prospecting area. Follow that up the hill, and you'll come to another gate that you need to blowtorch. Once you've blowtorched that gate, go across the log bridge once again, and you will get to the highest kind of point that you can reach in the forest, and that's where you will find 2 night trees. This is absolutely, I feel, the most confusing area, just because there's so many like big kind of redwood trees, and it's very like overpowering, and there's a lot of sharp turns, and it does feel quite maze-like. Once you kind of get to grips with it, you can kind of be like, hey, I know where I'm going, but the first couple of times you play in the forest, it is really discombobulating. For prospecting, you can head up the main path. If you take a left when you get to the fork in the road, you can once again cross that log over the river, and directly on your left hand side you will see a crystal. Here you can prospect, so you'll be able to find bacon, cake, which is in fact a pink cake, but it is just called cake, chocolate cake, and gingerbread men. I actually will give you a little tip here. Gingerbread men are one of the funnest essences to actually dedicate with. Now, obviously, in my tips and tricks video, I highly encourage you to actually paint with essence to tick off the essence tasks when you were building specific furniture for townies. I would say use the gingerbread men as just like full-on object decoration. They're really fun, especially with Roxy's ice cream parlor. But then there is actually a second area that you can prospect. You're in the right area, but you want to follow the lake route. So if you stand with the lake being on your right hand side of your MySim, if you continue walking all the way around the lake, you will come to yet another log bridge, cross over that, and then basically continue around the lake and head to the back wall. In the very, very back corner, you will find a second prospecting site. Fortunately enough, there is only 2 essence that you can get here, and you probably already got one of them already, because that is the organic essence, and then finally the terracotta essence. From that prospecting area, if you actually go back on yourself a little bit, so maybe like follow the wall around, you will come to a cave. This is again blocked off by boulders, so once you are a level 3, you can break through those boulders with your pickaxe, and this is the fun cave. Here you will find the soccer ball essence, the magic carpet, and the musical note. I personally found from my own gameplay the musical note was quite rare. It took a pretty long time for me to find. And finally, when it comes to fishing in the forest, there is only one area that you can fish. Follow the main path and then take the right fork, follow that through, and you will see the fishing dock basically directly in front of you after you've gone under the bridge. Again, this is a place where a lot of townies will hang out. Stand on the end of that dock, fish once again, and you will be able to find crab, octopus, and snakes. The snakes do look like springs. Do not be fooled, there are also spring essence, but those ones are specifically snakes. Finally, at level 3, once you get the pickaxe, you can access the desert, which is a pretty big area. I would say, like, geographically within this game, this definitely feels like the biggest area. The entrance to this is in the southwest. It's basically in the bottom left corner of the map when you're in your town and looking for it. You can also just place the flag down. You can do that using your right Joy-Con once you've opened up the map and like direct little finger over to where you want to place it. Hit A, I think it is, and you will set a waypoint, and then an arrow will come up and direct you to all of these places. So the trees that you can find in the desert. So right at the entrance, you will walk into kind of a town square area. There are 3 lots, and to the right of all of these lots is another orchard. You'll be able to see it. It's a green rectangle on the map. The orchards stand out really, really well in the desert, obviously, because they are grass bits. From the get-go, you will find a sunflower tree. Now, the thing is, for some of these areas, I can't remember if there were boulders in front of them, but considering you've already got the pickaxe to get yourself into the desert, you can reach loads of these areas as long as you don't need a blowtorch at level 4. North of that area of the orchard that you have just been to, if you basically just go to the right from when you enter the desert, desert, you will be able to see a platform that has some stairs leading up to it. Definitely keep an eye out for the stairs. Sometimes they are a little bit hard to see when it comes to the desert, but if you actually follow that once you've got up the stairs and you follow it kind of around the wall in an anti-clockwise way, you will come across two prospecting areas. In the first area, you can get amber, amethyst, and sapphire, and then if you continue to follow it around and go prospecting again in the second area, you'll be able to find jade, garnet, and topaz. And then again, if you carry on following it around, on the map you'll see a little circle of green. That is another planter, it's another tree, and that is the black rose tree. About halfway down on the map, you will see another plateau. The kind of isolines show when something is raised, and at the top of that midpoint there will be stairs up to that plateau. Again, there is a big circle of green grass, so you know it's another orchard. There's also a plot available there. If you go past the plot once you've actually gone up the stairs, head to the orchard and you'll be able to find what I like to call the citrus tree orchard. So here you'll be able to find lemons, limes, and again more oranges in case you didn't already get them from the forest. If you go right down to the south of the map, in the bottom left corner or the southwest corner, you will see what looks to be like a temple kind of pyramid situation. They're kind of like ruins. There is actually a cave entrance there, and this opens up to the treasure cave, which has 4 different types of essence. These are all based on card suits. You'll find the clubs, the diamonds, the hearts, and the spades. We've already talked about prospecting up on the cliff with the black rose tree. Just above the treasure cave, you will see a couple of little like sporadic, they kind of look like rocks on the map. This is what is known as the ruins area of the desert, and you can prospect here to find puppies, hopi dolls, tigers, and elephants. And again, just slightly up from those ruins, on the same plateau where the citrus orchard was, along the back wall closest to the ruins that you have just probably prospected from, there is yet another cave entrance. This is known as the cute cave, and in there you can prospect for the red crayon essence, Tim dolls, Tina dolls, and yellow crayons. Obviously, one of the most interesting parts of the desert in the northwest section is the big dinosaur bone that you can see, and obviously you are able to prospect. The first area that you step into when you can kind of see the dinosaur bone go up and around you, on the left hand side, you will be able to prospect for dinosaur fossils, mega lizards, moai, and skeleton. If you carry on a little bit further up, like kind of walk through this area, you will come across this cemetery, and again you can prospect in the cemetery where you will find both the spider essence and the voodoo doll essence. And then in the cemetery there is actually the cemetery cave, which you can head into. It's right at the end of the cemetery, and there you will find some ghost trees. You might already have these from Cassandra, but if you haven't, you can plant those ghosts anywhere in any of the areas and you can get ghost trees. And finally, when it comes to the desert, there are 2 areas that we haven't explored yet, because again, you have to be a level 4 to be able to explore these. You need to have the blowtorch. The first one is the junkyard. That can actually be found if you head to the south of the map. Just go to the lowest point on the map that you are able to see, and then along the west, like left-hand wall, you will see the gate, or a path if you maybe have already broken the gate. That will lead you to the junkyard, and within the junkyard, in the first area that you reach, you can prospect for both the globe and the pencil essence. And then if you travel on deeper into the junkyard, you kind of go past like a bunch of cars and go through a little corridor. If you prospect in the second area, you'll be able to find rockets, stars, and aliens. It's kind of, I want to say, a little head nod to Strange Town from The Sims 2. It kind of has that energy. And again, if you travel to the back of the junkyard, you will come across the opening to the junkyard cave. This will actually have some metal trees, which I think we have yet to come across. These work a little bit differently from regular trees. Instead of watering them, you can oil them, and it will just like bring out a watering can with obviously black oil in it. They are gears, robots, and springs. Those are the essence that you can collect from them. I would make sure you collect at least like 1 tree fully of its essences, and then instead of chopping it down, you can actually melt it down. And obviously, instead of getting wood, because they're metal, metal trees, you instead get metal essence. Just make sure you take the essence and like plant it elsewhere before you use it, or just replant the tree in that cave as soon as you have melted it down, just so you don't run out of that specific essence. The last area that you can blowtorch is in the southeast area of the desert. You will see 3 lots once you actually have made your way into this area, and then there is a southern pier and there's an eastern pier. Fishing from the southern pier doesn't actually get you any fish, but you can get gold essence and also the beach ball essences from down here. And then if you go to the top eastern pier, you can get tiny sharks, fish bones, and kissing fish. In my tips and tricks video, I already went over the different interests that you can actually have in your town. If you load up your map and go to this wheel, you can see that there are cute, geeky, studious, spooky, tasty, and fun. I mentioned that chopping down certain trees gives you certain types of wood. Also, when you're building for townies, they have a primary and a secondary interest, and then an interest that they don't like. So it is always good to keep in mind what their actual tastes are. If you want to move uber sims in, you have to 100% these town interests for each specific one. And if you actually go to your backpack and load up your essences, these are all color coded. So the cute interest is all the essences that have a pink background. The fun essences all have a yellow background. The geeky interests all have a blue background. The purple is for spooky. Green is studious. And then orange is tasty. Really, really handy for when you're painting stuff, when you're actually building items for townies and you want to take their interests into account. That is also how you're going to get the most out of your friendship points. I just thought I would let you all know because I figured that out whilst I was literally editing my other MySims video. And it is quite an important part of essence. And there we have it. Those are all the essence you're probably going to need for like most, if not all of the townies who come to your town. Those are kind of the base game essences. They're the ones that this all kicked off with. However, as we know, this version of MySims that came with the Cozy Bundle on Switch also had the gardens implemented. Now, the gardens weren't originally a thing on Wii. However, they were a thing on MySims PC. They used to have an online interaction with them, so you could actually invite your friends to your gardens, and not everyone would get the same essence in their garden, so you used to have to do trades. Now, I haven't played around enough with the gardens to know this for definite, but I saw someone's comment today that like, hey, is RNG just really bad in the gardens? Like, I've been trying to find a microscope for the longest time and I've not found a single one. Is it still that you only get like a set of essences available in your garden, but yet you can't trade them with other players because we don't have the online feature? And I definitely haven't played around with this enough to know. However, I did actually see a Reddit post that said that all the essence is actually available in the gardens. So there are a number of trees that you can find, and then you can also prospect and fish. It used to be in the gardens on the old version of MySims that the prospecting areas were kind of different, as were the fishing areas. It seems to be that you can get every single essence from like wherever now within the gardens, and everyone can access all of the essence available in the garden. So it's not just like a limited number that you then obviously have to trade, because we don't have online with this version of MySims, but it does seem that some of them are just really, really rare, which is gonna be a little bit annoying. I also know that the garden actually came with 6 extra sims, extra townies that you could have living in your town. They were commercial sims. I'm not 100% sure if those commercial sims, they're kind of unlocked at different star levels, actually need essence that you can get from the garden, or if they just rely on the base game versions of essence. I hope it's honestly kind of the base game versions, because they're the ones that are so easily accessible. They're the ones that you're probably never gonna run out of. Whereas if they do depend on the garden ones, especially with some of those garden ones being really, really rare, it's gonna take a lot of effort to have those essence. So I'm kind of hoping that these are just for aesthetic reasons, hoping that you don't actually need them for any tasks. But if any news comes out about that, if I get that deep within the game and find an answer for that on whether these sims who may in fact come with the gardens, I don't even know if they are available. If they do need stuff from the gardens, I I will let you know in a pinned comment. But really quickly, I just wanted to go on the MySims fandom, which big thank you to fandom and wiki pages because they are incredible when it comes to information like this. I just wanted to show the essences that are actually available in the garden. So for fishing, you have bat, beta, electric eel, goby, puppet, robofish, rubber ducky, salmon, and tuna. For the trees, you have banana, cube puzzle, which kind of looks like a Rubik's cube, kitten, pinwheel, raven, and textbook. And then when it comes to prospecting, you have bat, compass, dragon, freezer bunny, fruit pie, microscope, penguin, telescope, uber shiny, and UFO. And there we have it. That's everything, every single essence in My Sims, all available in the Cozy Bundle. I'm still only a star level 2 on my Cozy Bundle one, which I should have given this disclaimer at the beginning. A lot of the footage that you saw in this video is from my PC version because I'm a star level 4 in that one, so I had all the options like available to me. But just know the Switch one definitely looks a lot better. The fishing that you saw in the town was actually from the Switch version, and it definitely works a little bit better than the PC version. It's still a little bit janky, I'm not gonna lie. This is a 2007 game, but I hope this video was helpful. I hope that me showing it on a map and then also kind of describing it was like easy enough to follow. If you do need any clarification, please do not hesitate to let me know down in the comments. I know this was a big old video and I cannot thank you enough for tuning in. I hope this one and then my tips and tricks has helped you get to grips with the game. I hope you're enjoying it. Like, obviously it does feel limited in comparison to actual Sims, but I have such a love for these games. I played them growing up and I had such a fun time with them, and I'm again having such a fun time. I just love having a Sims game that I'm invested in, and I love the townies and I love being able to like design things, but also that I can just kind of play on my own terms and like at my own time. I feel like sometimes the Sims 4 and like Sims 3 and Sims 2 are so like, oh my god, you have brain rot, like play it. Whereas with My Sims, it just feels more chill. It just feels like I can pop in and out. I can be like, oh, this townie is in the hotel today, let me move them in, let me build their house. I don't feel like I have to do all of their tasks and bash it all out all at once, and that feels really nice. So I'm having a really fun time with this. I hope you are enjoying it if you did happen to pick it up. I hope this video was helpful. Again, if you need any clarification, do not hesitate to let me know down in the comments and I will do my best to help. I would love to know if you are playing it, who's your favorite townie been so far? What tasks have you been proud of? I want to hear everything. What's your favorite essence? If you were struggling with any of these essences, what did this video help you to find out more about? Thank you all so much for being here, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.